Okay, now let's look at empirical prediction interval, where we cannot assume normal distribution, which means we cannot use the t-value. So in that case, we still want 90% prediction interval. So forecast for January is 610. That's our point estimate. Now, how many observations are there? So we'll do a count. So that gives us 12 observations. Confidence level is 90%. So that means the two tail probabilities, okay, the tail probability in total is 10%. Now half of that would be the lower tail, and the upper percentage, the cumulative percentage, will be, so that divided by 2, so that's our 5% over here, and then 1 minus that would be the upper percentage. So 5% and 95% are the two tail areas. So 5% here and 95% over on the other side. So now let's look at the actual errors. So let's now copy the actual errors as values, not as formulas. So we take the actual errors, copy that, Control C, and when you paste it, don't just do Control V, but if you go to paste, and you see paste values here, and we can do paste just the values, or values and the formatting, and the values and the source formatting. So let's use that one. So now we have all the errors. Now what we need to do is to sort these errors from smallest to the largest. So for that, highlight the errors and go to data, and you can click that one. That's a quick way of sorting in ascending order. No, you don't have to expand. Continue. So now we have the errors from smallest to the largest. Okay. Now we need to look at what percentile. So there are totally 12 errors. So the first error will cover, when you go from smallest to largest, the first error will cover 1/12 of the values of the errors, and 2/12 of the errors, 3/12 of the errors, and so on. So the very first one is 1 over that count. That's the percentage of errors. Okay, let's make that into a percentage. That minus 510 covers 8.3% of all the errors. Okay, then you take that and you add again 1 over that, and we'll make that absolute reference. That's the second error, covers up to the second error, you'll be 16.7%. And if you go all the way, you get all the way to 100%. Now in empirical formulation, what we need to do is take, remember, our lower limit is 5%. Okay, so which means the lower error, okay, so up to 5%, so this will be our lower error. So 8.3% will cover up 510 all the way up to 510 is the smallest possible error. So you go up to 3 minus 350 will cover 8.3, and that's the closest to 5%. So this will be that error. Now error for the upper limit will be, okay, in a similar fashion. So 310 will cover up to 91.7%, and then you get to 100%. So 91.7% is the closest to 95%. See, whichever is closer, so that's what you have to take. So it's not exact like in the normal distribution. So now you take the point forecast, subtract, okay, which is actually the error itself is minus. So you need to go plus, no, you need to go plus, if you go minus, then you have to make sure that this error is converted into a positive number. There you go, plus. And then 610 plus that. So we can say we are 90% confident that the forecast for January 2004 will be between 260 and 870. Okay. Remember this, the error minus 350 says that is from the center, it is 350 on the negative side. So when you take 610, then you have to subtract 350 from it, not add 350 to it, in which case it will put the lower limit on the right side. That's not right. So you have to go down from 610, you have to go down by 350. So that's why here we had to add that minus 350. If it is minus 350, you add it, so that means you're going down from there. Okay. So these are some of the basic concepts, like we looked at plotting time series and looking at seasonal effects, scatter diagrams, and how to summarize data, computing correlation, using data analysis, and then using those transformations. There are 3 types of transformations we looked at for removing the trend and making it into a stationary time series, and then accuracy measures. Okay, all of these we will be using in combination with any of the selected forecasting methods we'll be discussing in the future, and then how to come up with the prediction intervals. Okay, all of these are common topics for the specific forecasting models that we'll be discussing in chapter 3 forward.